Cub, what are we watching?
So this is a cut up that I made for an NFL team that came in here and wanted to interview me. It's happened a few times, and each NFL interview is different, right? Sometimes they already have film cut-ups for you. Sometimes they pull up your worst plays on film.
Right.
Sometimes they want you to pull up film just to see what you pull up and what you want to show. Because they've seen all of this before. You know, they have all of the film. So for this one, this NFL team asked me to pull up 15 clips that explain why I'm a good returner.
Okay.
And then 15 clips that explain why I'm a good receiver.
Gotcha.
So.
And this is the 15...
Yeah, these are the 15 clips that I picked out to show what makes me special or what makes me reliable.
And these are the special teams.
And these are the special teams clips, yeah.
Do you think that if you're going to make an NFL roster, special teams is the big reason?
Yeah, I'd say people will pick me up as a special teams guy who can double as a receiver.
Gotcha.
You know, if I were just a special teams guy, wouldn't get picked up, and if I were just a returner, I wouldn't get picked up. It's kind of the idea that I can double that I think makes me more enticing.
All right.
So
where are we starting?
So we're starting off with first punt return of the year against San Diego State, right, against Matt Ariza. I think he won the Ray Guy, didn't he?
I think he may have. Big leg.
Big leg. Huge leg. Outkicks his coverage a little bit.
That's the knock on him going to the next level.
So you got to get a little more hang time. And we knew that coming in. And part of why I chose this clip was because for the last 3 years, I've helped with the punt return schemes here.
Okay.
Coach Shaw has been great about letting me help with the schemes and deciding who we're going to double, what side, what direction we're going to return the ball. So this one, throughout the week during practice, we knew that he'd outkick his coverage at least once or twice.
Yeah.
And we also knew that because of it, their guys converged way more than they should. You see this guy's not keeping contain at all, right? He's just running down. So we did all directional returns, no middle returns. It was all directional. So I knew that once I got outside of that initial wave, we'd have a pretty good shot.
And you broke one tackle.
And
then this is unique for Utah because there was no wall.
Right. Yeah, this one, so if you notice here, they've got 2 slots on air. They've only got a guard, 2 guards. They have no tackles. They have 2 slots on air because their whole goal is to just get down the field quickly.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're undisciplined. And so the reason I put this on film for the first time was to show the scheme, but also to show I can get outside and then get vertical as soon as I can, which gives you the option to cut outside or inside. A lot of people just run straight to the sideline, right? And then, I just finished it off there. And I give a little, you see my... Yeah,
that's almost like a Harry Kane celebration.
It is. Well, this was played where the LA Galaxy play.
So you did that on purpose?
Oh, yeah. So I told my receivers before the game, I said, if I score, I'm giving the classic soccer celebration.
Oh, wow.
Because we're in the LA Galaxy Stadium.
Harry Kane would be proud. So this is a kick return.
Yep.
Pretty different than a punt return.
Very different.
Walk us through the big differences if you can.
Yeah. So punt return, a lot of people think punt return's scarier. And it's only scarier if you're not confident. Because catching the ball, as you know, is
the hardest part.
Right. Catching the ball with guys running at you is hard. But punt return comes down in waves. 1 guy, then 2 guys, then 1 guy, then 2 guys. Kick return, it's like one giant wave. It's like 10 guys running at you in one wall. And if there's no crease, you're getting flattened. So kick return is a little bit scarier, in my opinion.
Really?
Because you just have to make an initial decision.
You're coming at them with more speed than you are in a punt return too. Yep. So the collision is going to be bigger.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And the people that coaches put on on kick return are usually like the crazy ones. You know what I mean? The guys who don't care about, I don't know, concussions or whatever. They'll just throw their body in there.
So this is the Rose Bowl.
Gianni Pauls of the world that's just going in to kill you.
This is the Rose Bowl, Carl.
Yep. So this is the Rose Bowl, and we knew that their weak unit was the kickoff unit.
Okay.
because a lot of times when you play guys that are really athletic, they're very undisciplined as well.
Gotcha.
So they lose their lanes, their gaps. But this one I put on this compilation just to show field vision, because I feel like you can teach a lot of things in football. You can teach route running. You can even teach someone how to be a better catcher of the football, how to have better hands, understanding the game. But one thing I think you can't teach is field vision. I think it's just something you develop at a young age, and you can't just teach someone to be better at running with the ball. It's just kind of natural. And so I think that's why I'm being looked at as a returner, is because that's hard to teach right at the next level. So right here, as you can see, it just turns into just strictly...
That's chaos.
Yeah, it's chaos. I'm not thinking right here.
It's all instinct.
It's instinct. And it's having practiced cuts throughout my life, but at this point, it's just instinct. And instinct and then speed.
And then you break away.
Right. And as the slot receiver, I didn't get many opportunities to show that as much. But on a few returns, I was able to show it.
Was this about as good of a feeling as you've experienced in college? I mean, that's 80-odd thousand packed into the Rose Bowl Stadium.
Well, yeah, and look, this is where my wife was sitting right there. Why do you think I ran from the right side of the field to the left corner of the end zone? Because my wife was on the front row right there.
Was she really?
Blew her a kiss and got brownie points for it for like a month. So
USC, we're
back to your years.
Oh, man. Yeah. I remember this. You were like the only guy that did anything in this game, Cove.
Yeah.
This was a bad game. Was this when we were ranked number 3 in the country or something?
This was.
Oh, man. Vegas had USC favored.
Yeah.
And I remember we were all pissed off, and it didn't matter in the end.
I know.
I mean, this was extraordinary. This is maybe, in my opinion, one of the more impressive plays of your college career. You broke a handful of tackles, Cove.
Yeah. Well, part of it is when the team's backed up, they got to get the ball out quick.
Yep.
So you'll get a shot. But it's this initial cut right there.
Okay.
That is important for a returner. Just no hesitation.
You drop the shoulder.
Outside. And then the rest, once again, it's just field vision. Can't really teach it. You just have it or you don't.
That's what I was going to ask. So you can't teach field vision, you don't think?
I don't think you can. I mean, I think you can teach drills that help with knowing how to run. But in terms of just playmaking ability, I think you develop it probably from 5th grade to early high school,
Gotcha.
Because it's hard to, someone like, who did you play with? Corey Butler Bird. Like, you cannot teach his vision.
He was a kickoff extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire. There were a lot of things he needed to learn to be a better player, but in terms of just natural ability with the ball,
Reggie Dunn was
Dunn, exactly. Kalen Clay.
Yeah. Fresno State, the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Fresno State.
What year was this? Was this
your
back
year.
in the...
I'm putting up some of your years.
Wow, Cove.
So this one you can see we have more of a wall.
Yes. I just remember when I played, we were all about the wall. And
yeah.
you went away...
The wall...
You kind of went away from the wall there.
Well, what happens is teams are taught to recognize the wall. Teams are taught to point that out.
Right.
And basically go to the opposite side of leverage. So we still run a wall, but at any point in time, I'll cut back against the return because teams will see, they're building a wall to the left. So they'll go on the left side.
And you can probably hear them talking too.
Sometimes you can, but a lot of times you see it on film that they're recognizing a wall return. They go to the opposite side. It opens a cutback lane. So some of my biggest returns were cutback lane on a wall.
Interesting.
So once again here, right, you can see I don't run straight to the sideline.
No.
I get vertical if I can to give me an opportunity to stay outside.
And then you got the punter. What's going through your head when you break all these tackles and you see this punter? Are you thinking 6 points, right? Touchdown.
I mean, usually if it's someone like you, I say they had to have some form of rugby background or something.
Are you so you're pretty wary of, I assume, the guys that are on that initial wave on punt return. How wary are you in all seriousness with the punter? You're not that serious.
So here's what I think of right here is keep a two-way go, right?
What does that mean?
If I were, a lot of people will run straight to the sideline, and then the only thing they can do is cut back at that point.
You give yourself two
I give
options.
myself a two-way go because that will freeze him. He knows I can go inside or outside, so he'll move on my inside.
He's trying to push you to the boundary.
Exactly.
To the
the sideline's the second defender, right? That's what they're taught. So as long as you can, you keep enough room on the sideline where you can cut towards the sideline or inside rather than get tackled by the sideline in essence.
And then you just put him on skates. You froze him, and then you were able to just literally walk around him.
Well,
he was a punter. He was a punter.
So
up at the wazoo.
Let me give you a little, So here's what I think about right now.
Okay.
Right? During the week of practice, we run through. I watch a lot of film on tendencies. You know, right here, I'm like, okay, he's going to probably punt it towards the boundary
because they've loaded up on that.
On that side. And here's how I liked to develop the scheme with Coach Shaw was we take our gunners and we take the 5 guys on the line of scrimmage, the 5 other guys, and we say, who are their most dangerous guys? Who are the threats? Who are the best guys that get out in the coverage the fastest?
Right.
We're going to double team them.
Okay.
So we'll take our 2 safeties, and some people like to have the safeties back towards the returner. I think that's overrated. You double team the biggest threat. So a lot of times that's a gunner. A lot of times that's a tackle. Whatever that is. And
you try and double team them as fast as possible.
Exactly, because from the time the ball is snapped to the time you kick it is what, 1.8 to 2 seconds?
Correct.
On average. In those 2 seconds, I am not worried about the ball. I am looking at, okay, did my gunner control guys, did my corners hold up their guys?
Interesting.
So you have 2 seconds to figure out. So I designate my threats. Okay, their left gunner and their right tackle are the 2 fastest guys on the team. Those are the guys that will make me fair catch it. So in those first two seconds, I'm looking at both those guys in my peripheral, and I have 1, 2, and I can see, okay, the left gunner got taken care of. Oh, but he got a free release. So he's going to be my threat. So I kind of diagnose my threats within the first.
The ball's already in the air.
The ball hasn't gotten in the air yet. It's 2 seconds till he kicks it. So in those first 2 seconds, I say, okay, he got a free release. This is my guy. This is my threat.
Interesting. So you're not even worried about where the punter is punting it because you're almost certain you know.
I'm almost certain I know.
Interesting.
Some punters are better at masking than others. But
right.
First 2 seconds, I'm like, okay, he got taken care of. Oh, this is my threat over here.
Gotcha.
That way I know what to look for in my peripheral. Then the ball's kicked, and it's instantly all about the ball. From the off the foot to the apex, it's all about the ball.
You do not. When do you look at where the return team is? Where the punt team is, I should say.
Once you get to about a 5-yard radius of the ball.
Oh,
and that's off. You don't think about that in a game, right? You don't want to be thinking about all these things. It just happens. So punt to apex, you're just worried about the ball. And then apex to in your hands, you remember who you diagnosed as a threat. And you take one last glance at them.
Gotcha.
So, okay, I can get rid of the left corner. He got held up, but this guy got a free release. So I find the ball. Where's my free release guy? And then I catch the ball.
Okay. And in that split second, you're trying to figure out if you're going to return it or fair catch it.
Mm-hmm. And then...
Interesting.
And then, as you can see here, so NFL teams love to see a guy able to track the ball.
Yeah.
To fully turn and run.
Nice punt, by the way.
Great punt. So they don't want to side shuffle. They want to run. You can see me running over to the ball, catching it square with all of my weight loaded up on 1 foot.
And you make a cut immediately.
Right. There's no hesitation between when I catch the ball and when I make a cut. Left foot planted up there. Then you can see the same thing where I tell you, don't run straight to the sideline. Leave a 2-way go.
Yeah.
That leaves you room on the sideline.
And there's dust. Poor punter. I feel for you, bro.
Yeah.
There is no worse feel.
Yeah.
It's horrible. All right, we're back at home.
Yeah. So, for example, I still remember...
Is this Oregon State?
Oregon State. Their guy that was really fast out of coverage was their right tackle right here. Yeah. And their gunner. And their right tackle got taken care of. Yeah. Well, right tackle as we look at it. So, great. But their gunner did get a free release. You can see that. So, in my mind, I'm saying to myself, I'm only worried about this guy. You can see me load up all of my weight on my foot as I catch the ball to avoid him.
And then you break a tackle.
Hit the crease. See, in college, it is a punter. In college, it's going to be different from the NFL, obviously, because in college, everyone can leave on the snap. In the NFL, only the gunners can.
You have more time.
And so because of that, NFL punt return teams are more like a V formation, like a flock of birds.
Correct.
Right? Whereas in college, they spread a net. It's like a wider net, right? So in college, a lot of times, punt return touchdowns are as if you get outside of this net because this guy's undisciplined. Whereas in the NFL, it's a lot of times you just got to crease that little V.
Right.
So that's why I put up this next one, because this is more accurate to what?
Utah, Oregon, up in Oregon.
Yep.
Was this the Oregon game?
This was our game.
2015.
So you can see it's, I'm not getting outside this guy.
But the wall was set up.
The wall was set up
and you
right.
broke it.
Yep. And I did the opposite, but partly was because I diagnosed my threats, right? You can see off my right foot, all on my right foot. And then at this point I know,
okay, pause it right there.
Yep.
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Oregon defenders with no help. So are you thinking you've made a mistake at that point? Or are you still confident that you've done the right thing?
Right.
Because
Well,
all your help is to the other side.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not thinking anything in the moment, really. It's kind of just instinctual. But right now, I understand that they're about 15 to 20 yards away from me. And if I can get vertical and get the first down for our offense, that's a win for the punt return team.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a touchdown. If you can get the first down for the offense,
and so that means just gaining 10 yards.
Gaining 10 yards. So I know I'm not going to return this for a touchdown, and that's why I don't stay outside. If I was trying to do everything I could, I'd stay outside, but it's a 25-yard return. So.
And you're at midfield.
Yeah, midfield. So this one,
BYU,
this punter, Rico, he's
a good punter, huh?
Oh, my goodness.
He hit some bombs.
He hit some bombs, and we knew that. I mean, these guys put slots on air. Slots on air are the hardest to go against.
Why is that?
Because they get cleaner releases. It's just like another receiver.
Right.
So this was actually clocked in as a 5-second hang.
Was it really?
Uh-huh. And I wasn't touching the ball on offense this game, and it was really frustrating to me. So I'm just like, I am not calling a fair catch. And you can see me.
I mean, that has got to be scary.
Yeah, it is scary. You can see watch my eyes right here. Up, down, up, down.
Yeah, you're like...
Understanding where the threats are coming and then loading up whichever foot to get me out the quickest.
Britain, this is not a good decision.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden you're like, well, maybe it wasn't so bad after all.
Right. We get a little 40-yard return out to midfield.
That's good.
Yeah. So these are kind of just trying to show first step ability, right?
Nice first
step. You want to
step.
catch it loaded on one foot, but the ball's not outside of your frame.
Gotcha. So that you have it secured.
Yep. First step. And then this one went for 30 yards. So I didn't even put all of my best returns on this.
On purpose.
I'm just trying to show what makes me special as a returner. First step ability.
Oh, yeah. There you
go. First step.
Geez, this is going back too. Is this 2015 again?
Yeah, this is another 2015 one. And this was... Talk about learning from your mistakes. What did I do wrong here, Tom?
Yeah, you went too close
straight
to the
sideline. The only way I can do is cut back.
Did you do that because Domo was kind of leading you that way, do you think?
That one was more me.
Really?
Domo could have helped there, but if I stay vertical, this punter is frozen in the middle, and then I'm
burning him.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
So watching film, you learn.
You were kicking yourself.
Yep, I was. So this one...
Who is this again?
This is Cal.
Cal. Was this the college game day game?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
First step again, right?
Bang.
First step.
Oh, so you had a little double move there. Yeah. Why'd you catch it on the 5-yard line?
Similar thing. Coach Witt got to the point where he trusted me enough to make good decisions.
So he didn't tell you anything over your head. You need a fair catch or let go.
Well, so I'm lined up at the 25-yard line to start here. So going back that far.
Yeah, that's a bomb.
It's a bomb. You're not really,
Wow, that move right there was filthy.
So I get out to the 28, and it's fine. So right here is one where it's just...
You were lined up over that way.
Yep.
You just knew he was going over there?
Yeah, basically. And this is another one where on film I see how undisciplined their guys are.
Yeah.
And I know if I get outside. And then right here you can see me not run all the way to the sideline. Stay up here so I have a two-way go.
Yeah.
That's what gets you another 7 yards.
Yeah.
Now this one is one where it's kind of just taking a risk. So
yeah, because NFL teams probably don't love that you showed your back to the...
Exactly. Yeah.
They probably didn't love that.
It probably didn't.
But that's okay.
It does show the ability on that first move.
I mean, you didn't have any other choice.
No. And this is my favorite. Watch these 4 guys behind me.
They all go down.
And here's where I learned not to go all the way to the sideline. Watch me keep a two-way go.
Oh, you
Gets
can
me
just...
another 15 yards.
Yeah.
And if Josie Mariner would have touched this guy.
Yeah. I mean, Ciose probably didn't want anything to do with that guy.
Yeah, probably not.
He was 300 pounds.
Here's the classic Oregon punt return. Right.
Classic Oregon. This was this year.
Yeah.
Oh, right before the half.
Yeah. So this one we had a blitz called, so we didn't even have a return set up.
You probably hate that, huh?
Yeah,
because Utah doesn't call blitz often on punt
very
return.
Often. So I knew if I got a return, it was going to be getting outside. That's the only way I can get my blockers back into the picture.
Yep. They did a nice job.
They did.
They did a really nice job setting that wall up.
Connor O'Toole was coming back towards me, and so I point at the guy in front of Connor saying, "Go."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Get your rear end moving,
exactly.
big boy.
He's like, oh.
He's like, I'm sorry.
That's funny.
Is this as loud as you've heard Rice Eccles?
Absolutely.
Is it really?
Yeah. Coach Witt told me it was the loudest he'd ever heard it.
So. Really? I mean, that place went berserk.
Yeah. So, yeah, those are the 15 clips that I chose.
If you were to give advice to high school kids, even kids younger, because they're starting to train at an earlier age, but what would you give them when it comes to punt return, kick return? Is there anything that you look back on and go, somebody said this to me and it really helped me.
Yeah.
I did this in my garage and it really, I mean, anything like that?
Yeah. My main thing is it doesn't matter how good you are, how fast you are, how good you are at running with the ball. If you can't catch the ball 99 out of 100 times or even 100 out of 100 times, you won't play. With Coach Witt, that was what it was. I was competing against Corey Butler-Bird, Boobie Hobbs, Kyle Folks. All 3 of those guys were faster than me. We were about the same quickness. They were all stronger than me. But going up into my freshman year, my dad and we got a punter from BYU. Do you remember Scott Arleno?
Yes,
Scott,
I know the name.
Yep. He came to my house every day and punted me 50 balls a day.
Did he really?
Got to the point where I was 100% on catching. And we got to fall camp, and Corey couldn't catch him. Boobie couldn't catch him consistently. Kyle Folks couldn't catch him. And so at the end of the day, it was who's reliable. And so I see all the time high school kids coming to catch punts in college, and they don't understand the idea of, okay, a right-footed punter, if it turns over at the top, it's going long and left. If it doesn't turn over, it's dropping short and right. If it's a knuckle ball, it's going to end up floating a little bit to your,
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like that is my only advice. Worry about running later. Just learn how to master the catch.
Yeah. Catching a punt's kind of tricky.
It is tough.
It is tricky.
Especially when you catch them from you and Mitch.
No, Mitch more than I.
I don't know. You got your weird little watermelon punt knuckleball thingies too.
My thing, I have some weird movements.
Yeah,
but
you do.
Hey, Kev, I appreciate this, man.
Yeah, this is fun.
You like this? I like this a lot. Thank you, dude.
This is great.